What's up, survivors? It is the Michaela B here coming at you with a summertime tea. It's been a little bit and I've just been moving on with life, y'all, but I decided to come back with the tea today about life after Survivor. Um, it's something that people, I don't go looking for this stuff, first of all, so maybe someone's talked about this, but doing something on TV is so interesting because it's like everybody feels like they know about your experience and about your life and who you are, and it's cool, especially for people who like thrive on attention. They love that people know their name and see them walking down the street and all that stuff. But for people like myself who don't necessarily, like, I don't thrive on attention, I thrive on achievement, success. I rather get something done, and the fact that I know I got it done is good enough. I don't need to tell everybody. I can have a small circle of really good friends, and I'm very content and happy with it. I don't need the party around me all the time to feel good, right? So for people like me, it's different, and it's something that I've embraced because, I mean, it can be cool sometimes. But I wanted to share, just how this really does feel, particularly after the fact. For me, this has been, and even for Zeke too, it's been a very long haul. We started our Survivor journeys in March of 2016. And it didn't end, technically, until the end of May 2017. So for more than a year, my actual being was stuck in this game. And then for a few months, I had to deal with, the repercussions from a emotional standpoint, from a rebuilding my life standpoint of being in the game. Just imagine, like, when I came back from Fiji, I came to Texas in August 2016. I didn't have an apartment. My stuff was in storage. My car tires had busted. I had money in the bank, but no, like, I had a small residual income from a business, but not what I'm used to having as a young professional, who was working previously. So as far as the setup of my life, it was very different. I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But then there were these emotional factors that I've never had to deal with ever in my life that started coming into play, and things like anxiety. Like, I've never had an issue with anxiety, and I'm home today because, I went to work and had an anxiety issue. And like, every time I say anxiety issue, I think of Hannah having a panic attack on the side of a challenge one day and how angry I was at her I'm like, Hannah, you're not even in the game. How are you possibly having an issue right now? And hurry up and get over your issue because we're hot and you're requiring us to stay outside longer. That's literally what was in my mind the first time I've ever seen or heard of the word anxiety attack, right? And now, as a result of that experience, a total of like 50-something days in the wilderness with people attacking you all the time, that is something that I, struggle with and am not excited to struggle with. So, that for me began right after the game. And I think for me it was a result of me being a very open, transparent person by nature, and having to contain myself for so long to try to last in that game, and just having to push down everything I felt, everything I wanted to say, having to monitor everything that I did, like having to just think 4 or 5 times before I made any moves, because I was trying to prolong my life in that game. And that thing that you do to yourself, like suppressing who you are and suppressing what's natural to you and what has worked functionally for you for your entire life prior to that point, that process of packing yourself down into your own self, that doesn't go away just because you catch a flight back to Texas, you know? And so, like I said, this video is kind of the after effects, and it could be the after effects of playing this game twice back to back. It could be the after effects of being the type of person I was going into the game. I don't know what it is, but there definitely are things that, you know, that affect you. So again, let me talk about this particular story while I'm home today. One thing that I noticed that happens a lot is if people that I trust or I'm close to do not provide me with information, it stresses me out. This could be as little as like that hesitation that I just had, right? I just did it. When people do that to me, if you're very close to me and I see you do that, like hesitate and think about what you're gonna say and then try to say it, my alert goes really high. And it actually it can be a huge source of anxiety for me, because then what I do is, well, what were you gonna say? Well, why did you hesitate? Are you okay? Are you sure? And it starts this like questioning thing of the other person, because I'm trying to just make sure they're still on my side and that there's nothing funny going on there too. Another thing that I've noticed that is impacting me now is like if somebody brings up something and it wasn't part of the natural course of conversation, I don't know where that thought came from. You know, like if we're playing golf and someone goes, I don't know, I can't give a real example. Basically, if the conversation's here and then someone brings up something they've never brought up before, and that could be, you know, how do you feel about this person? Or what do you want to do regarding this subject? If that subject is not related to anything that we're doing, or it hasn't come up before, that can be a stressful situation for me, because now I'm trying to figure out, why are they asking me this question? Who did they talk to before? You know, what do they think that I think right now? Oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. And to talk about it, it's so funny to me, because I hear myself saying it and it's like, Michaela, stop tripping. But this is literally something that I've been dealing with. And you know, it's not as pervasive as it was last year, but certain things I find are like little triggers. And you know, it's just really interesting, but it makes me appreciate the solid mind that I had prior to this experience. It makes me relate to and feel for and have more patience with people that struggle with, I don't want to say mental issues, because that sounds like I'm talking about something else, but maybe it's emotional issues. I don't know how to classify it, right? But people that struggle with their own thought process and their own feelings, because it's can be a little bit. So I'm appreciating it as much as I can, and trying to not embrace it. I wish it would go away quickly. But I recognize that it's new for me, and I recognize that it wasn't there before this experience. I recognize that, or I really hope that it does go away. But I just wanted to share it because, it sucks in the moment, but looking back, it can be funny. So I had an extreme situation last night that pervaded through today, and I'm finally to the point where I'm getting over it. And it's funny, I can laugh about it, but in the moment, if you would have caught me 3 hours ago, there was nothing funny about it. So it's just interesting. But other things about this experience, I really, really appreciate food. I really appreciate when people give me things, whether it's like a small gift, like when people think of me, I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate comfort. Like I bought a bed. And I thought about telling you exactly where I got the bed because I've been excited about this for the past month since I've had the bed. But if you haven't bought a new mattress in the past 8 years, please go buy a mattress. I'm not getting paid by mattress people, but I'm telling you, everybody knows where I got my mattress from if you're my real friend or you work with me, because it changed my sleep life, y'all. But, things like that, like things that bring comfort excite me, and I'm appreciative. It's hot in Texas. It's June, about to be July in Texas, and I sleep with like blankets just because they feel good and they smell good, and that means a lot to me. What else means a lot? People that I trust means a lot. Just having genuine friendships means a lot. Time with my family means a lot. I just booked a trip for me and my parents and hopefully my sister and brother, maybe a couple other people, to go to Chicago, for Labor Day. So just the opportunity to prioritize time with people I care about means a lot. I'm just grateful for a lot. So that's good. And I also am very sensitive, even more sensitive than I was before, to homelessness, to people on the side of the road who say they don't have food, and just anything like that, to people in the struggle. I was sensitive to that before, but it's even more heightened now. Every time I pass somebody on the side of the street, if I feel convicted to stop, I'll stop and give. I've turned around to do that because I felt so on the inside, but sometimes I don't feel convicted to give, and so I don't. But I still think about it. And one thing I thought about yesterday when I passed a homeless person with a sign on a particular part of the town, I was thinking, if there's a homeless shelter on the other side of town and a soup kitchen on the other side of town, why are you on this side of town? So I'm like in my mind try to strategize for them, like instead of being over here in the heat, just go over there and there's resources available. So it's funny, it's interesting. It's still a grateful situation, but definitely there are side effects to this whole deal. It's opportunity cost. That's all it is, opportunity cost. So I plan to update you on life. I've been having some cool conversations with some different people. I want to record those, but hopefully I can just make this channel about real life. Everybody liked the real life element, and I just want to be able to share that. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about my post-survivor struggles, but more detailed information to come. This was a slight ramble, but I'll get it together, y'all. So hope you're enjoying your summer. Have great memories and great time with your friends and family. Eat a lot, drink a lot, have a ball, be merry. Holla.